Cool. So folks, to demonstrate this, I'm just going to click create new shape. It's going to create a cube here just in the middle of my view. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is just change my scale here, just because at the minute, like, I need to be able to like kind of divide this cube into more. So I'm going to just hit minus on the keyboard. Okay, and that should let me go down in like divisions of a quarter of the cube, basically. Okay, and then you can select edge selection. Okay, so we select the edge selection tool. And I'm going to select this edge here on the top of the front face and this edge at the bottom of the front face. So you hold down shift to select multiple faces. Okay, now there are two things we can do here, folks. So we can connect the edges, and it's basically just around the center of this, it's going to create a connection. But we can also click insert edge loop, and what that's going to do is insert an entire loop of edges around here. Okay, why do you think we do that instead of doing it the other way? Can anyone guess?
It takes less time.
Yeah, so there's a reason that we're talking about with the... Remember we were talking about how many sides we want on, how many edges we want on any of our geometry? How many was it?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. If I just put an edge here, how many edges would have been on this cube at the top face? So I'll do this one, okay. So I am going to connect edges. How many edges do I have here on the top face? 5. Yeah, so I've kind of got this 5-sided shape. Okay, generally, like, it's not going to be a major issue at this stage. It's just later on. It's better to have always 5-sided shapes if you can. Okay, and one of the reasons that that gets really awkward is if let's say I move this out like that, and then I move it up like that. Can you see this? It's not really too sure. Sorry, I'm going to turn off ISO. This isn't really sure how to render that top edge. Does that make sense? It's no longer a flat plane. It's kind of like curved. You can probably see there with the shading. It's kind of curved up. It's not a simple shape. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's like it's got 5 control points, but it's got like this weird curve here that's going on where it's trying to interpolate between this and this and this and this. So it's just trying to say, basically what happens there is the graphics card says, well, let's make that look how we think it should look. And that will cause issues later on if you want to texture it and stuff like that. Okay, so...
Max just explode.
Which?
Max just explode.
Yeah, a little bit. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to bring this back around here. Well, wait. Okay, folks, so again, I'm going to select with edge selection mode. If I select these two, and then if I insert edge loop, you can see there it's put this edge the whole way around. Now, how many edges do I have on my top 2 faces? 2 faces now, but how many edges do they have?
6.
4. Each of them have 4, yeah? There's 2 rectangles there. Okay. And that's going to help in terms of, like, if I pull this forward and stuff, it's going to help a little bit in terms of what it's doing there. Okay, folks, so what I'm going to do here is... Oh, actually... Before we create the edge loop, I'm just going to push it out to the side here. And then I'm going to create another edge loop here. So insert edge loop. And I'm going to snap that at the same place, the 0.25 marker. I'm going to do the same up here, top and bottom. Where is it? Insert edge loop. Oh, sorry. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, I need to select the sides this time. And insert edge loop. Insert an edge loop.
Can you make it relevant to the new edges of select, like, or the whole shape? Go around the whole shape instead of like.
Oh yeah, so that's the edge loop basically. So we want the edge loop so that if we didn't have the edge loop, we'd have like all these weird. We'd have like there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges on that top plate. Whereas instead we kept everything here is square. Does that make sense? Yeah. Everything here is a 4-sided shape, and that's why we've done it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
John?
Yeah.
For some reason, some of the options are here under the Probuilder tab.
Do you have it on? Do you have it like the edge selection mode on?
Yeah.
And do you have this view or do you have the icon view?
Icon view.
So just at the top right, there's those 3 lines there at the top of that tag. And just text mode for what we're doing here. So
I did text view.
oh, okay. Oh, sorry. So this is just a normal cube. Yeah, no, we need to create a side menu. And then just go new shape. And I'm just going and then you can okay folks, so there's 2 different ways we can move this here. So if I select this as it is and I drag it, oh, sorry. So I'm going to select this front face here. As I drag it forward, it's going to kind of move outwards like that. Okay, we might want something like that, but it probably isn't what we're looking for because we're trying to create a little window. So instead, if we hold shift on the keyboard and drag it back or forwards, it's going to give us that shape we're looking for. Which? Yeah, that's good.
When using the tools, John, do you find it easier, like do you find certain shortcuts that you wouldn't use, let's say for like extruding or cutting holes, would you find them easier to do than like most other routes?
So, like, I think having like shift on keyboard for extrude, a lot of times when you're using Probuilder, you're kind of using it to rough up, kind of like you're mocking up what a scene will be like, and you move to something like 3D Studio Max after this. So I find like using shift and scale and move and rotate is like 80% of what you're doing.
John, does allow me to like different faces.
Did you create a cube or did you create a Probuilder and create a cube? Ah. Yeah, so delete that.
Square.
And then
So we apply
okay, folks. So I'm just going to run through that again. So everyone's familiar with it. So again, I'm going to move the. What way am I? My orientation here is completely messed up. So again, I'm going to create a new shape. This time, instead of a cube, as about we do a torus. Torus is so awkward, but okay. Here's the torus. I don't know how we're going to edit this. Okay, but this will show us something like the geometry. So we hit build on that. In some ways, it's actually easier because it's already divided up into these nice little shapes. So we can we could select like multiples of these. Okay, folks, so we can do that, and like if I do the scale from the center, got to be able to do that. I can pull in those faces or stretch them out. I can also, if I hold down Shift and scale, that will hopefully work. Okay, so you get this. The lighting kind of, Unity's default lighting for some reason is really, really harsh, and it kind of blows out any detail that like you'd otherwise be able to see. But you can quite easily, like you can see there the Shift tool, like gives you a lot of power in terms of what you're doing. Let's say if this was our, this is like the hangar bays on the Death Star or something like that. It would be our Death Torus. Death Torus. So let's say now we want to go in here and we want to again put in like a window here or something like that. We can select this edge. I'm just going to go for Move Tool because I prefer how it looks. And then we can insert Edge Loop, and that's going to run the loop the whole way around our shape. Okay. So if Okay. There is a Probuilder setting there I can change, but anyway, I'm gonna just so I'm gonna turn off grid snapping for this because it's kind of creating some weird snaps. So I'm gonna move this to here, and then I'm gonna select this edge, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Insert an edge loop there. And then I'm going to select these two. And insert edge loop. Okay, so it's inserting the edge loops there basically. We can select an edge and it will create a loop perpendicular to that edge basically. Okay, and now we can, if I hold down Shift on the keyboard, I can like create a window coming out.
For my original one, though, I did that. Shape like a Game Boy.
Okay, folks, so we can just like mess around with that and get kind of awful weird shapes like that. Our Dead Torus may actually die in design. I don't think it's going to go into action.
Well, like, and the software is going to be a tree. So, this is a green sphere. The big cube is here and a tree. Yes. Of course.
That's the
You need to never say that again.
What is that?
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah, so when you first create a new edge, if you want to be able to select this much if you select edge loop, it's gonna you select one and it's folks, just one thing to show you in terms of the selections that we have. Where's my cube gone? There we go. Okay, let's say I wanted to select this whole edge and kind of like make this window a bit smaller or something like that. In theory, I'd have to keep doing this, like click, 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 and like rotate, and that's really awkward. So luckily the tool is built in that we can select this, and then we can, up here in our selection, we can go select edge loop, and it'll select that entire loop of edges for us. And then we can move that entire thing together. Does that make sense? Okay, so if we lose our selection of an entire edge loop, we can just do that and it'll expand it the whole way around. Basically, it'll wrap the selection around. I hate having snapping turned off. So where's my torus? So the one thing I want to show you inside here is, like, if we look inside this, can you see that, like, this is what's called the normals, but basically it's all facing outward, so there's no geometry inside. Okay. So there's a thing we can do here, and we're going to make like the inside of this playable. So we can select our torus inside an object mode, and there's this button here, flip normals. Okay, which is then going to make the inside of this the outside and the outside the inside. So it's just flip normals over in the Probuilder menu. There. Okay, and when you look at it from outside, it's going to look crazy like that, basically. Because you're going to be looking through it, basically, is what's happening there. Okay, and what we can do here is like create a new shape. I'm going to create a plane. Can it still do plane? Yeah. It's a very big plane. Just going to put it there inside my death torus. Okay, and now we've like very quickly we've got like a sort of playable space inside there.
Do you just have a first-person controller there for that one?
Yeah, so the next thing I want to do, folks, is show you how to add in first-person controllers. So this is the way Unity changes things. This used to be kind of easier done. Some of you might still be able to do it, but you used to be able to go assets, import package, and there was like an option there for controllers. Okay, that is now gone unless you downloaded Unity in a very specific way, or you set up the project at the start a specific way. Instead, what we need to do is go to the asset store and search for standard assets. And standard assets is here, and it's free, and we just click download and import. Okay, and that's going to put our standard assets into our project.
Any asset that you do make and you apply to the store, is every asset on the store free?
No, some of them are paid assets. So if you go, folks, if you're looking for the asset store and it's just not set up on your view, you can just go window, and asset store is like the fourth one down. And then you're searching for standard assets. Okay, folks, have they imported for everyone?
Did you make a plan in the Builder, John, or just
I just read it in Probuilder, but you can do it either way. Yeah, it's just one of the custom shapes. Okay, folks. So to bring in our first person controller, I'm going to go back to the scene view here. Inside our project folder, we should now have a folder called Standard Assets. So you can double click on that or click the arrow beside it. This window needs a bit more space. This is one of the things with Unity, you're eventually going to start running out of screen space. Especially when you get into animation, there's like 3 different windows you've docked in different places and you need to see. It gets very complex with all the windows. Second monitors are great. But inside here in the Standard Assets folder in our project, there is a folder called Characters. We double click on that. We're going to go for our first person character. There's a thing called prefabs. What do you think prefabs are? Yeah, they're not buildings, but they're like basically prefabricated game objects. So they represent like an object or functionality, basically. So inside here, these are first person characters. So I'm going to. Where did my plane go? Oh, did I forget to create the plane? But I'm basically going to bring the rigid body first person controller into the scene here. Okay, and the scale is probably a bit off, so, but there, you can delete that, and you can delete your main camera as well, because otherwise you might run into a few issues. One thing I'm going to do is just make my torus be larger.
Wow. Now it's a bigger donut than that.
Yep. Okay, and now we can press play and see if this will work. Okay, so do you see in the game view down below? I'm able to run around my donut. And look, there's where I created the window. Okay, we can click this button here as well, maximize on play, on the game view window, and that just means when you press play, it'll go full screen. Okay, this is like going to make everyone sick if you keep watching it. Okay, folks. Does that all make sense?
Slow down. Control 9.
Control 9.
So like we have a lead there. Like we were like
Fuck you, June. This is a loading.
He made carry emo. That's okay. I accept it.
Yes, I am from Kerry.
They're just surprised by him.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
How does it feel to be from Kerry?
Great, the kingdom. That's good. That's why I'm in charge. People from Kerry, that's how it works. So folks, is everyone okay with that so far? Which? It is recorded, yeah.
The
Yeah.
download speed isn't great, that's all.
Cool.
My man. You look so anticipation.
I don't understand.
Okay folks, so there's one more thing I just want to show you, just because it's kind of it's awkward or slightly complex, but I'm gonna start off by showing you a different way to create windows basically. So like the way we showed it there is one way to do it. So I'm gonna create again another square, cube. Okay, and I can go into face mode, I can select this face and I can scale it and hold shift.
It's like, oh shoot.
Okay, and then I can do the same here. I can do shift and move that down. Okay, and that's going to create a window pretty much the same way. Does that make sense? Now one of the things is, if I like bring this all the way down.
Is that a shift?
Okay. So do you see the problem here with this window if we want this to be like just cut completely through?
Oh, it has a bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like like there's no base to this basically. So I'm gonna go here, and then what you do is you basically I'm gonna select this face, backspace to delete it. Okay, and I'll need to do the same down here. Okay, and that's gonna fill through it. Which? So yeah, there's a third way that's experimental that I'll show in a second. Actually, let's go on to the third way to create a window. Okay, so what I'm going to do this time is create two shapes. Get we go into object mode. Oh, sorry, I should be in object mode. I'm going to scale this. Okay, so this is basically this sort of thing. Okay, so there's a way you can select this, and we can go into Tools, Probuilder, and we're going to go for Experimental. Okay. Now this has been experimental for about 3 years. Like even before Unity bought Probuilder, this was experimental. But for doing level design and stuff like that, and especially if you're talking about cubes, it'll generally work fairly well. So we can do this Boolean CSG tool, and we can click this button here, and we can select our which cube. I really should have named these cubes. No, not that cube, not that cube. So I can just drag this in there, and this. That cube shouldn't have. And instead of intersection, I'm going to do subtraction and hit apply. I think this has gotten stuck on the wrong. Yeah, it has. Very experimental. I don't know why this is not. This is what I was pressing. Oh wait, maybe I need to.
I have a feeling it's not working.
I have a very strong feeling in. Let's try any of these. Will they work? Yeah.
Can we use the assets though?
Like for the whole assignment, like download 3D first person game. Really good. Yeah, so folks, with the asset store, anytime you use work from anywhere else, and this includes like anything you find online or anything like that, as long as you reference it, normally it's fine. But just check with your lecturer for that specific assignment. Like if there's a lecture for like or assignment for like a level design, and you download a level, and you say, "Oh, I got it from here, but this is my level," that's like not okay. But if it's like I got some assets to decorate this level, that would be fine. But it's already like kind of a case by case basis. Is this Boolean working for anyone? Anyone try it?
No, it's not working with my piece of paper.
Why? What piece of paper is working?
It worked with my paper and my fish.
Maybe it doesn't have lag. That's just a test.
Probuilder.
Oh, it stops. Oh! They're gonna get you. So
No. I'm like, you can switch around. This used to work like.
Describe surgery.
For something like this, it used to work reasonably well. Let me check the.
You're not gonna trick me this time. I've been saying it ever since I fucking met you. I think it's because so straight. It's weird stuff.
Straight on, and then yeah, so we say wood and wood.
Yeah, but then you don't.
Yeah, I think we're following how you should be doing it, but it looks like it doesn't work at all. Is it working for anyone? On your laptops?
He has an addiction. Why is it's hard. Why would you enjoy it? Because when we say no, it's not. He gets a every time you have a fight.
That's a fun thing.
I barely survived.
Okay, folks, so we might have to do the, unless your laptop, did it work for anyone? Boolean? No. Which?
She's in her head, food. Paul is starving.
No, that's discrimination.
Folks, is everyone still pretty much downloading?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can get from
It's
there.
okay.
It's like a form, right?
While you're in the store, just type in standard. Was this the program you used to make my apps?
No. That was written all in Java, pretty much from scratch, yeah.
You download it.
Oh, is it like
Unique bits piece. It's like when you're running yeah, exactly. The one thing that you just see I told you to know it just stays at high speed. That would make it what? I don't see my marble. No. I'm not going to watch it. Curious.
So folks, is that okay? Sorry, that used to work the CSG, the basically Boolean tool which allowed us to cut or unite pieces. Because we can't use that, we have to do the slightly more awkward way of intersecting things and like just moving and scaling and shifting and extruding. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. So folks, what I'm going to do is create a new scene. A new scene? I didn't even save that, I don't think.
Oh no!
It's saved forever in recordings. So folks, to start off, I'm going to create a new plane. Okay, and I'm going to set the position of this to 0, 0, 0. Okay, and that's just so that it's like nice and centered in our world. I'm going to delete out the camera. So delete the main camera. And then I'm going to bring in the rigid body first person controller and put it here on the plane. Okay. So if I press play here, it's going to be a really cool first person game. Or not. I've never seen this screen before.
Was that a crash? Or you didn't?
Did you have to
I hear the fans going out.
Oh, I would have, yeah. Let me do it. Let me do it. Oh well. Okay, so folks, what I'm going to do in the scene is create a new shape, and it's going to be a plane. I'm going to hit build. My standard assets, I'm going to go characters, first person controller, prefabs, and rigid body first person controller.
And then build. Is that a better camera?
Well, I'm just going to press play and see if that doesn't crash. There we go.
Oh no, my laptop can't handle it.
Okay, so this is a pretty small plane at the minute.
John, do you find like the inconvenience wise when it comes to assets is that you have to keep re-downloading your project?
Once you have it downloaded, you can just hit import.
Oh, so it's saved up to the actual.
Exactly, it's saved somewhere.
When I was doing, like when I was working on this, I was trying to be project manager on app and reinstall posts.
Yeah, it should be there once you've downloaded it. Once you should just be able to import it to multiple projects. Okay, folks, so I'm just gonna scale this up a bit. So the scale of this scene is a bit nicer. You can press play. Okay, I'm going to go into object selection mode, and I'm going to set the vertex colors, and I'm going to set it to green. Okay, so this is going to be our ground basically for our scene. And then just for the rest of the class, it's really just about building up some like poly shapes.
Palm shapes?
Poly shapes.
I swear to God, we're going to do Pong again. No more Pong.
Do you not want to do Unity Pong?
No.
Pong Unity? Yes.
We just set the bar.
King Kong.
Can you make which?
That's an easy side.
You make him put
So folks, we can create a new poly shape here.
What is that?
My mouse broke. Like ripped it apart.
Why? Before or after?
Yeah.
Wow. Especially I thought for a second it broke because
Okay, folks, so I'm going to go into face mode and select this top face, hold down shift and move to the scale tool. Do something like this. And then hold shift. And then again, we can do, this time I'm going to do the scale tool without holding down shift. And basically, we're just going to be able to build up a tree here.
Trees. It's nearly my brother's birthday. Whenever I get a relationship with my family, fuck off, my brother's birthday. I
Okay, folks, so we can save this as like our sort of Christmas tree, and the first thing I'm going to do is just select the whole thing. I'm going to make it like green. Then I'm going to select these faces at the top. Or actually, I'll do the points at the top. And if we make these kind of greyish white, it's kind of like it's snowing on it. Pull these, and if I make this bark coloured. Okay, and now I can play the game and I can see this cool tree. Wow, look at that cool tree.
That's awesome. Can you jump on it? Make it lower and jump on it.
Physics.
It is physics.
Oh, anyone?
What's the thoughts? Why does the camera have Mickey Mouse ears?
Okay, now another thing we haven't been doing all along, folks, is like renaming these. So instead of new game object here, I'm just going to call this tree.
Tree game object.
And I can drag this tree asset into the assets folder. So folks, by dragging the tree just from the hierarchy here into the assets folder, it's going to give us a prefab tree we can use here, and we can just basically and we can hit Control D, and we can basically kind of plant down loads of these trees. Yeah, exactly. Anything you make out of this, you can like save it as prefab, and it kind of gives you this built-in functionality. So instead of having one tree, we can like make this one like.
Is this nature?
I'm gonna turn off Snap for this. Okay, folks. So now, like, we've got these trees. We've got the big one, the little one. We can hopefully jump on the little one.
Revolutionary game, Becky.
Yep. Now, and that gets us on the big one. Ah, it fell off. Okay.
I'm going to go home and make a map.
That's good.
Don't worry, I learned my own mistakes happen. No, I don't think this is going to be Imagine that as a belly. How would you add status effects to it so that you could give like a sudden jump boost?
Primarily code, yeah. There are some things.
It's not hard. I'm used to speaking.
I live in so just go test it. I would be able to take a game. I sent you way of your face. Yeah, I don't tell you that.
Are you making a house?
A very bad house, yeah.
Awesome. There's no way to actually. But then again, that was really. Thank you, Nate, for that video. But I never searched for it. Get rid of the palette. Weird. Yeah. You can't fit.
Can't fit. Oh no.
It's not big enough. It's also levitating on the floor.
Is it? No, that's just a ramp on the way in. Yeah. It's actually not levitating, it's just zero dimensional. So there is it's pretty much a snap tool you need to use. You can also, when you're moving something, hold down V on the keyboard and that'll snap to a vertex.
But it would have to be him.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it has to just have another point. So that is an option. What else? I think that's most of what I want to show.
I've got a bigger number, therefore. What does it mean? There's an exclamation mark on the bottom of my user screen that says an object is overlapping UVs. What does that mean?
That probably means that there's two faces kind of something on top of each other. So I can take a look at it in a sec.
I think you based on 2.5 minutes. But you chose us.
Yeah, once or twice.
I don't know what it's like.
Does everyone have the camera? Hey, folks!
is everyone comfortable with that and kind of moving things around, creating stuff?
Yes, I'm very good at organizing.
Reminds me a lot of SolidWorks.
Yeah, there's definitely similarities to SolidWorks. One of the issues with this is it's limited. It's basically building a piece of 3D modeling software inside of a game engine is kind of what this started out as. It started out as a thing you pay, it was about €100 or so on the asset store to use it. And then Unity bought it and integrated it. But still has some of those feelings of being something else tacked on to Unity. But it gives us a lot of control to basically create levels and kind of interior and exterior sections. Does anyone have questions on it or wondering about something good? So folks, for next week, the goal is going to be to create, like from Monday's class, to create just a simple outdoor scene. Okay? So just have like an outdoor scene. If you can do an indoor scene, like or have a section of indoors, that would be great, but it is kind of trickier with some of the, like, you know, the geometry and fitting system side. So if you can only get outdoors done, that's fine as well. But just try and create an outdoor scene basically using Probuilder to do it. Okay. An outdoor scene is a scene like outdoors. See, if you look at let's just Google something we can move around. Yes. I'm gonna make a new terrace map. Can you use which? Just all Probuilder basically. Folks. You don't have Game Tools Smile. Well, hey, at least I get to learn more about So folks, here's some of the stuff done in Probuilder. Okay, and this is just what it looks like in game. Just with different textures on it, basically. So you can get some really nice effects through that.
Whoa. Oh, that game's supposed to be all made by you. The one that had the. Was that E3? Looks like the box. It looks like that.
Oh, yeah. That's a cool outdoor scene.
Yeah, so that's all like lighting and stuff is giving you a lot of these effects. Yeah, you can see there basically what the lighting is doing, okay? And like these are just the simple shapes with textures on them. So it does make a difference. I want to get a...
They also, you can actually make
So folks, based off the tools we've used today, you should be able to make very easily something like this, basically. Yeah, elevator music is great. So this is just using the stairs shape instead of like the torus or the cube.
Welcome to the world of memes. Actually looks it's lazy. It's only Minecraft, right? What is it doing?
I think it's put like a texture on it. I don't know why it does this, but I think it's... Okay folks, so like, I'd say hopefully most of you can make that in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to try like to learn to use Probuilder, you can try to do that right now. But the last thing I want to show is just the... You only have to show reel for stuff made in Probuilder.
That's amazing.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, yeah. Did they show that video? Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. So if you're at the Game Jam, you probably saw this video. Oh. But as far as I know, like most of these levels were either designed or what's called grey box in Probuilder. We really need to get that set up at the end of the semester.
Cosmic trip. It's pretty much like an astronaut. Hey! The VR Supermodels is also essential. This is the first ever VR experience.
Wasn't there a really RC game that came out recently that was supposed to be on?
Sorry? Not sure. So folks, if you want to, like, for the end of class, if you want to just practice the stuff we've done today to try and basically recreate that sort of scene. Okay, so it should be fairly straightforward. It's all the tools we've used today. Just tweaking them a little bit. You can just draw it on paper.
That's so count.
Just draw the scene, yeah.
Just draw an outdoor scene. Do a flip book animation. Just draw it on the piece.
Playing is just a game.
Yes, that has changed the fraction.
Folks, a lot of stuff with Unity, you'll only really get the hang of it like putting in time and trying it out and testing it and stuff. So that's kind of these little homework assignments or just chances to get used to it. Next week we'll be adding to that scene that you create. So you'll be creating some like interactivity and stuff like that within that scene. So it is important that you have something there at the start of class next week that we can like work from basically. Next Monday as well, we're in 1027, just so you know, instead of laptops are useful. It's very annoying the Macs.
I need a new one because the one I have is super old and now it's fine. It takes 10 years to open Google.
Does it? It doesn't run Unity at all.
I can download it and open it, but I haven't seen it actually open. I can tell it to open it. It doesn't open.
They're not
The only actual game-making relevant thing I have is to write in script to make a text-based story games. Oh, you've been recording this the whole time?